All right, my sixth grade friends, we're looking at Tuesday, May 5, with our directions that say solve the inequality, graph the solution. So, first of all, remember our inequality signs: less than or equal to, less than or equal to. And so remember what we do in these situations. X minus 7 is less than 5. We envision this as x minus 7 equaling 5. And if x minus 7 equals 5, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to add 7 to both sides. 5 plus 7 is 12. And I find out that x equals 12. Well, if x equals 12, now I have to graph it. Okay? So remember what the graph is going to look like. First of all, it's going to be an unshaded circle because x cannot equal 12. So it's going to be an unshaded circle. And since the x is on the smaller side of the inequality, it's pointing to the x. That means it's on the smaller side of the inequality. My line is going to go right. Now says that x equals 12 in the equation. So I put my 12 under the unshaded circle because x cannot equal 12. X has to be less than 12. X can be 11, 10, 9, and 8. And I am asking for a minimum of 5 numbers on your graphs here. All right, so let's look at this next one. 97 is less than or equal to x plus 81. So I'm going to set up an equation. 97 is equal to x plus 81. And then I just solve the equation. Well, it's a plus 81, so I'm going to subtract 81 from both sides. That's going to become 0. I'm going to come over here and do 97 minus 81. That's going to be 16. All right, and I end up with 16 equals x. So, apologize for that little glare there. 16 equals x. Now it's going to be a shaded circle because it says 97 is less than or equal to, so x can actually equal 16. So it's going to be a shaded circle that starts at 16. Now, the x is on the bigger side of the inequality. The mouth is open to the side that the x is. So the x is on the bigger side of the equality, which means that my graph is going to move to the right, which means that x can equal 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 to make sure I get 5 numbers put in there. All right, moving right along. X minus 19 is less than 36. So, once again, set up the equation. X minus 19 equals 36. This is a negative 19 this time, so remember to get to 0, I have to add 19. So I add 19 to this side. I have to add 19 to this side. 6 plus 9 is 15. Put the 5 down, carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 1 is 5. I get 55. Okay? And I see, sure enough, x, not f, x equals 55. But I have to make my graph. Okay? Now it says x is greater than 55, which means it's going to be an unshaded circle. All right? And it's going to start at 55. Now x is on the open side. It's open to the bigger side. So x minus 19 is on the bigger side of the inequality, which means my numbers are going to get bigger, which means my graph is going to go right. And it's going to be 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59. Starting to get a little cramped for space, but you get the idea. All right, we got 2 more. One more that we'll do on this one. Let me give ourselves a little more room down here just in case. 3/4 is greater than or equal to 1/3 plus b. So once again, I'm going to set it up as 3/4 equals 1/3 plus b. I need to isolate b, so I'm going to subtract 1/3 from both sides. That's going to give me 0. I'm going to have to come over here and subtract 1/3. Now when I think about common denominators, all right, if I were to rewrite this as I would on my paper, 3/4 minus 1 over 3, I'm going to think about common denominators, and with 4 and 3, I think the best denominator is going to be 12. Well, it's 4 times 3 that got me 12. So 3 times 3 is 9. And it's 3 times 4 that got me 12. And 1 times 4 is 4. 9 twelfths minus 4 twelfths is 5 twelfths. Well, for my graph, how's my graph going to work? Well, first of all, it's greater than or equal to, okay? So it's going to be a shaded circle that starts at 5 twelfths. Now, 3 fourths, it's open, okay? It's open to the 3 fourths, which means that the B is on the smaller side, okay? So which means then that my graph is going to need to go left. So let's kind of bring it over here, shaded circle over 5 twelfths. The B, that has to be equal to or less than 5 twelfths, okay? It will have to go left, shaded circle, because it can equal 5 twelfths. Going to make my graph go left, 4 twelfths, 3 twelfths, 2 twelfths, 1 twelfth. And there's my graph. All right, we got one more. 8 over 2, or 8.2 rather, minus 1.7 is greater than or equal to x plus 2. Well, first of all, I should actually just figure out what 8.2 minus 1.7 is in combining like terms. Can't do 2 minus 7, borrow from the 8, make it a 7, make the 2 a 12. 12 minus 7 is 5, drop the decimal straight down, 7 minus 1 is 6. So I end up with 6.5 is greater than or equal to x plus 2, which means now I make an equation. 6.5 is equal to x plus 2. Then I have to isolate x. Well, that's a plus 2, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. Okay, now remember when I subtract here, the 2 needs to go there. That 2 is in the ones place, so it needs to line up with the ones place. Decimals have to line up. If I want to, I can put 2.0. 5 minus 0 is 5. Drop my decimal straight down. 6 minus 2, I believe, is 4. So I get x equals 4.5. Now, it says that x, the 6.5 is greater than or equal to x plus 2. So it's going to be a shaded circle that starts at 4.5. Now remember once again, the x plus 2 is on the smaller side of the inequality. It's open to the 6.5. It's pointing to the x plus 2, which means this is the smaller side, which means my graph is going to have to go to the left. 4.5, 3.5, 2.5, 1.5, 0.5. And there we have our 5 numbers. All right. I'll be available Tuesday, May 5 to help with this assignment, 6th grade. Talk to you later. Bye.